You know, Zach, Texas did not. Texas did not defeat Georgia like I thought they would.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we got what we needed as far as everybody else goes. So, but we're not here to talk about football, or we're here to talk about the Dallas Buyers Club. Is it the Dallas or just Dallas?
Just Dallas.
Just Dallas, like the TV show.
Yes.
Piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What up, film fans? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 375. Welcome to Dallas Buyers Club. You're listening to a new episode of the Cine-Men movie podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I'm joined by Zach.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Everyone doing okay out there in podcast land?
Podcast land. Also, if you're joining us on Facebook Live or Emisawa Productions YouTube channel.
As you can see, we're doing the dark and the light version of the show today.
Yeah.
If you're watching us live.
Speaking of live and speaking of dark and light, last week we had a fantastic episode about Frankenstein and his creature. If you guys have not went back and checked it out, it is a fabulous movie. Do yourself a favor. Check out the episode. I believe it's still Netflix's highest streamed movie of the year, and I believe it continues to be the highest streamed movie the last few weeks. So go check it out. We talked about Frankenstein in last week's episode. Other than that, you guys can find all of our shows and all of our past episodes in the archives. Just look anywhere up, whatever social media platform you get on. You can find all of our links at facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram /The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, X, Cine-Men405. There you can find all of our links, all of our episodes, and we're available wherever you listen to podcasts at. So iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. So go check it out. Zach, it has been a week. I don't know what kind of week you went through, but I feel like I've went through the Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah, it's been a little rough. I'll just say that. To say the least.
But let's get ready to dive into today's episode. If you guys have not checked it out, the movie is over 10 years old. It is a fantastic film that we will get ready to dive into. Currently on IMDb is a 7.9, 92% on the Rotten Tomatoes, 77% Metascore, and a 4 out of 5 on the Letterboxd. With a November 22nd, 2013 release date, it was nominated for 6 Oscars and won 3. With a budget of $5 million, it grossed a little over $55 million at the box office. Starring Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Gardner, directed by Jean-Marc Vallée.
Jean-Marc Vallée.
There you go. In 1985, Dallas electrician and hustler Ron Woodruff works around the system to help AIDS patients get the medication they need after he is diagnosed with the disease. Zach, do you remember the first time you watched Dallas Buyers Club? And honestly, what was it like revisiting it for the episode?
Yeah, I did not see this in the theater. Actually, I think the first time I saw it was on the Blu-ray disc. Got it on sale, I think, for Black Friday or something like that. I think this is after Matthew won the award, and obviously I was really excited to see the performance in the movie. Really, not only does his performance, but the movie itself does not disappoint. I think it's very fitting it got nominated for the things that it did and the things that it won. And then I think I've only seen this movie in its entirety. This is the second time I think I've seen it in its entirety. And yeah, it's still on the same level 10 years on, and it's hard to do that for these newer movies. What about you?
I'm gonna say same. That this movie is really good. 13 years later, the performances don't die out. Um, if I had to say one word to describe the movie after my recent watch, this will probably be my third or fourth full time watch as well. I'm gonna say depressing. I
Yeah.
for
I'll join you in the darkness.
I forgot really how terribly depressing this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get into it as the episode goes on. But Dallas Buyers Club, man, if you guys have not checked it out, do yourself a favor, go rent it, go stream it. I don't know if it's streaming on anything.
It's not, which is kind of depressing in on itself.
Yeah, but go check it out. Go find. I'm sure you can rent it for like $3.
Yeah,
I wanted to
$3.99 on Apple TV, $3.79 on Amazon Prime. So yeah, it's accessible.
I wanted to talk to you about not only how depressing this movie is, but like how movies that are so miscommunicated, if that's a good word to use, to where like, does this movie have to lash out as much as it does during the film? I don't talk about the usage of like needles, unprotected sex,
Yeah.
all the things that you can imagine to do to get this disease. I'm like watching it, 13, 12 years later. I'm like, does this movie need to go that far? Because you look at movies like Philadelphia, which was a groundbreaking film of its own right, and I'm like, I don't think it needed to. But looking back at it, I think the performances that was surrounding the actions was good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna slightly disagree with you. I think this movie had to go there in the terms that it does, especially with the main character of like how did he get HIV/AIDS? I mean, I wouldn't say that there's like graphic sex scenes, not like Anora or anything like that, but it's very
Risque.
risque. It's a very grimy sequence, honestly, kind of like very like okay, like a dirty motel or whatever. And yeah, unfortunately I think it had to go there in order to show not only what this man went through, but also other individuals that were unlucky enough to get HIV/AIDS, like what they also went through as well. Not only with intravenous drug use, but gay sex and everything else that you could how you could attract the virus.
I think this movie also does a really good job of giving you every detail in short sequences. Like you understand he's a hustler, but it doesn't take 15 minutes to describe that. It literally takes
it's
one scene.
shot.
Yeah, opening shot, literally, a second or two in a scene, him, selling the marijuana or doing the bull riding thing. Like it explains the how-tos and the wins. I have to say, my recent watch, I is this a two? I'm not saying this is a bad movie. By all means, this is not terrible. But watching it so many years later, it is definitely a 1-2 punch. And you can add Jennifer Garner in there too, but it's definitely a 1-2 punch performance as far as like you're just sitting back, and whether you're into the story or not, if you're just watching McConaughey and Leto go to work and work with each other, it is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a reason why he won Best Actor and he won Best Supporting Actor. You know, I know Leto is very much like a lot of people say he's like a modern Daniel Day-Lewis, where he'll just disappear in the role or whatever. But I mean, it really shows. And then Matthew, I mean, I forgot how much weight he lost for this show,
Yeah.
for this movie. And then like the shot where I think he's down in Mexico, he's just lying on a cot and he just moves his body to the right, and you see literally like the outline of his bones in his
Yeah.
hip. I was like, wow. And
Well, not even to mention, I think they did some makeup to help out with this. But
yeah.
towards the end, when he's in the courtroom scene, and you
Mhm.
can see his cheekbones and
Yeah.
his face is just sunk in, I'm like, dude, that looks unhealthy.
Well, I mean, I think altogether he lost like 50% of his body weight to play this role. And I mean, it definitely pays off. And something, I mean, I was telling someone at work, I was like, hey, I rewatched the movie. I just honestly, man, like it's been a while since I've seen this. I forgot how good he is in this.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, truly.
And it goes from, I was talking to somebody else about this too, and I'm like, okay, is this scary that maybe Matthew McConaughey in this movie is just himself turned up to a level 10? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that scary to think, hey, maybe he does go out there and do some hardcore drugs and some heavy drinking?
I mean, reading his memoir, I mean, you can maybe get that approach, but not to that level. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's, he's, and something I wanted to talk to you about was just like, I mean, he's pretty much, it's a very simple story, theme wise. I mean, it's basically about an unredeemable man doing redeemable things. But in the beginning, it's like,
well,
he doesn't like, there's a moment in the movie where it's just like, yeah, you kind of get what you sow, man, honestly.
And he does kind of change a little bit of himself throughout the film for the good. You do see he never stops the drinking. He
Yeah.
does go back and he drops the needles and the drugs, and he does go back and he has that one scene while he's running the Dallas Buyers Club where he's having the unprotected sex with that female in the closet or whatever it was. But I'm like,
Yeah.
how much realism does this movie portray of those real life scenarios from the actual Dallas Buyers Club? I'm like, okay, I know it's a movie. The only thing that probably could have been real, because you know how movies are when they're
Yeah.
loosely based off true events, the only thing that could have been real from this was somebody was running one of those in a hotel room.
I mean, I kind of did a little bit of research about that. I was just like, how accurate is Ron Woodruff in this movie? And it's like 60% accurate. I mean, a lot of people that knew him said he wasn't as homophobic as he is in this movie. A lot of people say he was bisexual, and that's how he got AIDS in real life. In this movie, he's depicted as, he got him from an intravenous drug user. And so the depiction, and I wanted to ask you about this. Do you think the depiction of a real person hinders the movie, or do you get so lost in the performance you don't think about it?
At least with this film in general, I get so lost in the performances that I'm like, I gotta kind of take a step back out of reality when he's, thinking about holding the gun and he's, wanting to off himself. There's so many performances and scenes that you can just get lost in. I don't think any of that stuff matters. Like I said, this could have been loosely based off. The only thing that was true was the hotel, and I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rayon, Jared Leto's character and Jennifer Garner's character, I read that they are fictional depictions of real people. So they're like a fictional character placed in the movie for dramatic purposes, but they were very much based off real transgenders, real drug users, real doctors that were in the in the scene of HIV/AIDS when it was like such an epidemic at the time.
You know who else was in this that I forgot that I think deserves a lot of praise was Steve Zahn or Steve
Yeah,
Zahn.
yeah, he's only in the movie for like maybe 10 minutes, maybe even not even that, but he really shows out.
Yeah, and it's so funny how many of those movies there really are where the one-off side character who's barely in the movie just shows his face, and you're just like, man, he's very believable as far as like a buddy cop person,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
he understands what Ron is going through, and he understands most of what the story intends, but you're just like, man, that's a good dude.
I I was just reading like his role, Steve Zahn's role. He just plays I thought he was Ron's brother, but he's just a friend because they had like a moment where they were talking about, I think, his dad. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, that kind of makes sense why he's not in the movie as much since he's just
Now,
a friend.
now let's dig our fingers into some very probably uneasy way to discuss some of the stuff because I don't know if it'll lead into like politics or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What about the actual back system in this movie that Ron is trying to portray, or he's trying to bring out across everybody? Is the FDA are the
Yeah.
criminals in this movie?
Yeah.
The FDA still to this day, when it comes to drugs and stuff like that, just a bunch of really bad people.
Yeah. And look, I'll just say that I work in the, not to give way too much of my, employment or anything. I do work in the medical field. I've met some of these people that, in one of the scenes when you first get introduced to Jennifer Gardner's character, you have a drug rep and he's like flashing his Rolex and everything. And I've met some of those people. They are really nice, but they're there for business and they want you to try their product. And the samples that they were given our clinic were not like to that level of save someone's life. They were like, allergy drugs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's there for this is a business and it's for profit. And I remember reading that ACT, that was like the top. Then it's depicted in the film that it was like the best at the time, the best drug for HIV/AIDS patients. But like like in reality in the movie, this drug was killing people. It wasn't really, it was helping the disease, but the side effects were so bad that they didn't, it wasn't even worth taking. Oh, okay, we're back. It wasn't even worth taking the drug because the it was such poisonous, as like the doctor from Mexico said.
Yeah, and some of those scenes too. I'm like, I had to take a double look. I'm like, that's not Stanley Tucci, is it?
No.
But the doctor itself, those Mexico scenes are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is a movie loosely based off fiction, nonfiction, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But the performance that Matthew puts down is about how he's dying with AIDS. He's giving 30 days to live at the beginning of the movie. And then you look at it just like scenes like 8 months later where he's going to Mexico and he invites Jennifer Gardner to go with him. You're like, man, that dude he's still trying to push through in a little happy life, knowing that he could just eat the bucket in just a few days. And I'm like, it takes so much to get through certain parts of anybody's day today,
Yeah.
not having that disease. You're like, the acting that he just portrays of going through life like that is just, to me, one, is phenomenal. And then I still don't think this movie in general or him as an actor get the credit that they really true deserve even 10 years later.
Yeah, I mean,
because you look at the year of film in 2013 and you look what was nominated for Best Picture, what won.
yeah.
I think it was 12 Years a Slave.
Yep. Which, I mean, I've only seen that movie once, and I get why it won, but
Same.
I mean, so many years later, I mean, is that one that did we really get that one right in the moment? Probably not. I mean,
and for this movie this movie is what, an hour and 48 minutes, an hour and 50 minutes after credits.
Yeah. I mean, the other nominations that year were American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, and The Wolf of Wall Street. And I mean,
To be
I would,
honest, looking back at it now, The Wolf of Wall Street probably should have won.
yeah, because I mean, not just the movie itself. I mean, how many memes of like Leo as that character are there, like on just spread out on the internet, just on a daily basis? Yeah,
But
and Matthew's in that movie, so here you go.
yeah, and I think it's just so many times. We're going to talk about it in 2 weeks exactly when we talk about the Matthew McConaughey special, but it's just one of those things that you're just like, this movie just reaches out on so many levels. The performance where you see Jennifer Gardner, and I'm sorry, but her name is Eve. When you have Eve and Rayon talking about how, he's like, oh, he grew up, all the way, because you can obviously tell they went to high school together. So they have that click, and the chemistry those two have, is phenomenal. And
Yeah.
there's so many good scenes between her and Eve and Rayon that you're just, when they're together, you forget that he's going through a infectious disease.
Yeah.
I
And
can't even remember who was nominated for best supporting that year, but I can't believe anybody else would even came close to these performances. The way you could just show somebody the scene where Rayon was laying in the bed and he stood up and he starts crying, saying he doesn't want to die and he's bleeding from the mouth. That scene right there won him the Oscar.
yeah, I got the list right here actually. So obviously Jared Leto won. The other nominees were Barkhad Abdeed, who was the Captain Phillips guy. I am the captain now. Bradley Cooper from American Hustle, Michael Fassbender from 12 Years a Slave, and Jonah Hill for Wolf of Wall Street. So
yeah, well, the obviously right person won.
Yeah. And then in the best actor category was Matthew won, Christian Bale for American Hustle, Bruce Dern for Nebraska, Leonardo DiCaprio for Wolf of Wall Street, and Chiwetel Ejiofor for 12 Years a Slave. There's a lot of people that think Leo should have won for that role, but I think Matthew put a lot more work in to do that, to win it.
Yeah.
So
and I went back and rewatched that Oscar speech, and I'm going to play it for everybody in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But do yourself a favor if you don't want to, and it's short and sweet.
Yeah.
And he, but we'll talk about it in a few weeks. But yeah, Dallas Buyers Club, man, it's the first thing that happened to me whenever it was over, though, was just like, man, it's too depressing. I do have a lot of other Matthew McConaughey movies that I would just probably pick and just put in. But this one, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. The performances are unbelievable. It's just a little too depressing. I don't know if I'd want to grab it every chance I got. But
no, and like I said, this is the first rewatch I've had probably since I saw it initially, whenever I watched it for the first time. And it's not, and to take it a step further, I don't even think it's the depressive nature of the film. I think it's just such a very emotionally challenging movie that, you don't want to subject yourself to every like 5 years or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And when we started this Matthew McConaughey journey last December with Interstellar, I was like, dude, we have to put Dallas Buyers Club in this realm, in this year-long calendar. I don't know where. I didn't know we were going to do it almost on the exact date of its release, with it coming out November 22nd, 2013.
We just planned that. We just planned things ironically, honestly.
But I'm just, I'm glad we talked about this. I knew this film had to be in there somewhere. There's a lot of other films that we definitely could have talked about that we definitely missed, but we'll discuss in 2 weeks. But man, what a journey. And I think it's fitting
I think
that
it's fitting that it's the end.
yeah, we end this Matthew McConaughey journey with Dallas Buyers Club, because whether this is his masterpiece or his greatest performance of all time can be, some people might even say, because there's some Suitor fans out there, there's some people out there that say his greatest performance is like TV or Texas Chainsaw, or he should just stick to those Mercedes Benz commercials.
You laugh, but it made me want to buy a Mercedes.
But I think it's fitting we end with this because it's just such a powerful performance that you have. I don't think any other movie that he has maybe can top this. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some small cameos like Wolf of Wall Street, where that you can be like, okay, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go out and do something. But yeah, this is just top notch acting. If anybody's out there trying to get in the acting business and you want to watch method acting, maybe watch this for the Leto performance, or go find a Daniel Day-Lewis movie for method acting. But if you want to just watch something to where you know that person is giving his 110%, and he's probably the best that he's been in his entire acting performance career,
Yeah.
this Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey is probably one of the best movies to watch.
And I know we'll probably wrap it up here in a little bit, but I think something else that makes the performance special is I think, it's set in Texas, and I don't know how to really describe this accurately, but it just seems like this seems like just like a real person that you would meet on the street. It's, maybe because Matthew is Texas and the character is Texas, and it's just like he really blends. I think he blends himself with, as much detail as he could to find about Ron Woodruff, but it just seems like a genuine, real person that you would just meet on the street, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what I meant earlier. I'm not saying Matthew McConaughey is a druggie who likes to go out and cheat on his wife with multiple women. What I'm saying is this character is Matthew McConaughey turned up to a 10 when it comes to him, loving his community. He loves his beverages. He loves his family. He loves his cowboy hats, his boots, his rodeo, his Texas football. That's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
When you sit and look at it, it's just him turned up to a 10.
Mhm.
Zach, do you have a favorite scene?
Oh man. I mean when you first get introduced to when he first gets diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, it's just you can see almost the pain and almost the hatred that he has, not only for himself but for the two doctors in the room. I think that's the scene that won him in the Oscar. And also the scene where like he comes back from the trip and once he figured, oh no. One of my other favorite scenes is the grocery store scene where like his best friend's being an ass to Rayon, and it's just like, no, shake his hand, be a man and shake his hand. That's a great scene. And then something that's very seems so right for the movie, but also just so simple was the date scene between Ron and the doctor. I thought that was a great character moment
Between Ron and Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good scene. Another big scene that I enjoyed was where he's telling Eve, where Ron is telling Eve about the picture his mom did.
Yeah.
And she hangs it up. She gets so mad at the situation that she's in, and she's hammering through the wall, and she makes the holes in the walls. Then Eve uses the picture to cover up the holes.
I think that's like right after Rayon's death, I think.
Yeah. Another really good scene that I enjoyed, but it was super depressing, but the performances were just amazing, was when Rayon couldn't stab himself with the needle, couldn't doctor himself up. Yeah. So even though he hated to do it, Ron gets down there and does it for him, And
I think that, to me, that scene really pops up like that. That's the scene that I remember this movie from, honestly, is just like, hey, no, you want to do the drugs, do it yourself. And then, he really insults him, but also in a way he's like a friend in that moment, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And the three Oscars this movie won an Oscar for I believe,
Yes.
was best actor, best
Yep.
supporting actor,
Yep.
and then it won one more,
Makeup and hairstyling.
makeup and hairstyling.
It was also nominated for, I think, Best Picture, Best. Hold on, I got it right here. Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Those are the ones that it lost to.
Are you surprised Jennifer Gardner didn't get any kind of nom? Or were you like, this is no kind of knock on Jennifer Gardner at all, before we wrap up here, but I wasn't in love with her performance as Eve.
I'm going to be honest with you, and this is probably just a nitpick. I think she's kind of miscast in this movie. I think she does a good job, but I think you could have got someone else to play the doctor role.
She's believable as the doctor, but I don't think she's believable as the hard ass doctor that she's portraying in the movie. I just feel like she's too sweet.
Yeah, I think when Ron is like cussing her out in the hallway and she's like, "No, I'm an effing doctor. Come see me in my office." I think she sells it, but I don't know. There's just something missing. Like there's not enough.
This could have been, and maybe she just wasn't given the opportunity. You know, her scenes are very limited and very short and sweet, cut dry. Maybe, but I see this role for maybe somebody like a Michelle Williams.
Yes, Michelle. Yeah, she would fit that role perfectly.
Yeah,
I think if she was casting that character, I think she would have been nominated.
Anybody is looking for somebody to help cast, I'm free, available Monday through Friday.
I work from 8 to 5. I work from 7 to 4:30, but I have time after that.
Yeah. Oh no, if I'm getting a job in Hollywood, there's no way I'm returning back to a real job.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. People.
But that was Dallas Buyers Club. And go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say star rating for Dallas Buyers Club.
Oh, yeah, of course. How could we forget? Dude, I really wanted to do this like all month long just because of the other two movies we've done, but I'm gonna give it a 4, honestly. I think it's very deserving of that. I think I could have given it 5, but you know what we say about rewatchability. I haven't seen this movie in forever, and I don't know when I'll rewatch it again, but performances, the story, I'll even put the emotional depth that this movie has. Yeah, it gets out of 4 out of 5 for me. What about you?
Same. I'm gonna give this a 4. Great performances led by strong storytelling. I think some of the cinematography doesn't get talked about either in this movie. Like the shots where he's in an empty rodeo crowd, just daydreaming, and he sees the clown in the bucket. I think that's some really great cinematography shots.
Mm-hmm.
Also, him, just sitting at the electrician's site. There's just so many other great scenes. But like you said, rewatchability. This movie is a little too depressing. I don't think I'm going to grab it anytime I want to see Mr. All Right. But I'm going to give it a 4. A 4 is still a fantastic grade.
Something else, real briefly, I wanted to mention. I thought it was a great story or cinematic device of using the ear ringing when he's about to have like an attack or he's about to pass out or something. I thought that was a really well used throughout the film.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But man, are you ready to go back to Oz?
You know what? I watched Wicked today. That'll be in recent watches next week. I'm ready. Next week, we're going back to the theater and we have another new episode. Next Tuesday, me and Zach are discussing Wicked for Good, the conclusion and the part 2 to last year's Wicked. I think this is going to be, I don't want to say this, I don't want to jinx it. I think our conversation about the product is going to be a little bit better than the movie. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know if this is another 3-hour movie like the first one was.
No, I think it's sitting at like 2 hours and 20 minutes right now.
Okay.
2 hours and 2 hours and 17. So
okay. Oh, good.
Not too bad.
So I think it's going to be a fun climactic ending. So yeah, and then I can't believe that's what we're ending November, Zach. Next week, that's what's ending November.
It's crazy.
It feels like just yesterday we were talking about Frankenweenie.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's going to end out November, and then December is just 3 episodes. We're talking our top 5 Matthew McConaughey profile piece. We're talking The Godfather Part 2, and then we're going to end the year with a Christmas Carol conversation. All in the month of December. So yeah, everything's wrapping up. Can't wait to talk to you guys about movies next week. We're going to have a full list of movies next week, full episode. We're going to have recent watches. We're going to have a new top 5. And we're also going to talk Wicked for Good next Tuesday on another new episode of the... Zach, going to do the honors?
Oh, Cine-Men movie podcast.
Hook 'em.